Hello there. Hello there. So, all the people that are rich through capital accumulation are so at the expense of the growing uh, debt of the consumers or the consuming public. So, for billionaires to become billionaires, to accumulate billions of dollars, there should be other millions of billions of ordinary people who are taking debt to finance corporate profits. So you will discover that what happens in the world that corporates, because of capitalism, they say they exist to maximize shareholder equity, which means to maximize profitability. My argument is that the only way they can keep on making more profit as a group is for the consuming consuming public to carry on taking more debt. If the consuming prices, if the consuming public stops taking debt, it will not be able to afford the products that are being produced by the capitalist. If they cannot buy, then capitalists will make losses and they will end up stopping to produce. So production comes to a halt, economic recession. If it takes too long and the structure is not fixed, it can be a depression. It can take long. It can be shallow or it can be deep, depending on the events of that time. What am I really saying? I am saying that after capital has accumulated what it has accumulated, it must recognize, therefore, that all its profits is futile. Why am I saying so? Because all of its profits are just a representation of the money that is all that the consumers owe. And yes, so in order for the consumers to pay back, if the consumers had to pay back all the money that they owe, all right. In fact, they can't pay back because they need money. Remember, you need money to pay. So if I borrow $200 from the bank to buy something for $200, and then I eat that thing, and then the bank wants its money back, I cannot give it its money back because I don't have money. I've spent it. Okay. So the people who owe corporations and whatever, they don't have the money. They have spent it. They have consumed it. So the only way to for them to pay back that money is to give service, to be productive, to work, to be workers, to get paid. Now you discover that what they are paid is less than what they consume. That's the reason why they are in debt anyway. A person who is in debt is a person who spends more than they earn. To understand. So with this global economy that we have, this global growth has been driven by debt, meaning that the people who have been borrowing to finance their spending, to supplement their incomes. That's why their credit cards are growing. You might look at yourself and say, no, I don't do that. I only spend what I only spend what I earn. No, you're not. Let's just say you get paid 20,000 rands and you've got a debt on your car. Your car is probably 500,000 rands. Your house is 2 million rands. Already you owe 2.5 million. Though you're paying back in installments. That little installments makes you think that you are living within your means. But you are owing already. Your debt is ballooned. Right? But it's a managed system. So it's okay. Don't panic. It's a managed system. But in the case whereby uh, the system spirals out of control, like in the United States during the housing market, whereby, oh, so I've got a house for 2 million, I can just pay 5,000 a month, that's fine. Or I can buy another house for 2 million and rent it out for 10,000 and then just pay 5,000 and make $5,000, 5,000 rand profit every month. You begin to become a property speculator, and maybe the property prices are going up as it happened in the year 2000. I'll buy for 2 million. I'll borrow 2 million from the bank, buy a house. It will be 2.5 million next year. Then after you sell, you get to 500,000. Oh, it's gonna be 3 million. You keep on doing that. You're now speculating in the market, and it's okay as long as the trend is your friend. By the day that things turns out, your property you bought for 2 million, hoping it's gonna go to 2.5, suddenly goes to 1.5. You have lost 500,000 on paper. You still have the house, but it's now worth 1.5. Do you understand? Such things can happen and cause an economic crash. That's what happens in 2008 when prices of houses crashed. People begin to gamble in the housing market instead of using housing market for what God created it to before, for you to buy a house and live in it, not for you to start treating houses as if they, they are you are a super pet. So anyway, let's go back to the original point. The original point is that all the profitability of corporations put together is a representation of all the debt that is held by the consumers. And the only way that they can afford it is for them to be servants to the capitalists. But the problem that they have is that what they get paid is usually less than it's not even usual, it's always less as a whole. All servants or workers put together, what they earn is less than what they spend. Because remember, companies sell at a higher price than production, okay, to make a profit. So you must ask yourself a question that if they are going to sell at a higher price, where since the if they're going to sell at a higher price than the wages, where do the wage earners get extra money to pay? They borrow it. They borrow money. So that is why they become heavily indebted. The only way for them to reduce their debt, do you know why? It's very fun. The only way is for corporations to make losses. Yeah, that's the only way. The only way for the total summation or the summation of all debt holders to be able to pay their debt is for corporations to produce goods and sell them at below prices, below production cost, so that all that accumulated profit can go back to the spenders, and the spenders are able to pay back their debt. So it's not a bad thing for prices of things to go down. Do you know why? Because it will be a time in the economic cycle when the profit accumulators have to give to the market. Okay, profit accumulation is fine, but a time is going to come when you have to take losses. What I'm saying on aggregate, it is okay for companies to take losses because it is those losses that the consumers need so that they can pay back the debt. Otherwise, they'll not be able to pay back the debt. And which gives me to something crucial about humanity. What is it that we exist for? It's short-sighted to say that we must maximize profitability, capital, or to accumulate capital as a means to its end. No, we must focus on improving the living conditions of society. All right. If that involves making profit, so be it. That's part of the cycle. But at some point in the cycle, a time is going to come whereby improving or keeping living conditions intact will have to mean taking losses. So I like the fact that the Reserve Bank of the United States understand that part. So when they make profit, it's fine. When they make losses, it's also fine. They understand that there is a counterbalancing of the whole thing. The whole reason why the U.S. Central Bank exists is to make sure that there is low unemployment and inflation is kept at around 2%, which is what we should be doing as a society, not just the central bank, but central bank, government, and business by and large. So for business to always seek profit, for me, it's morally important. It's immoral, number one. Number two, it's economically impossible. Through the laws of economics, businesses that keep on making profits, they can accumulate profits. But after some point, they will have to make losses, and it is a healthy thing. Because if they do not make those losses, or they keep on requiring more money from the people, it will be like IMF SAPs. The people will collapse. The society will collapse. People will not be able to even buy the goods, and even the capital system itself will collapse. The whole broader society collapses. It becomes chaos. So, in order to avoid global chaos, what capitalism has to realize that there are times when they have to take a loss purposefully for the sake of giving recovery to those that are those that are consumers. To understand, I hope it's clear.